Okay, so we are Fremad Russia DMC, and our company is on the market from the 1993. So we are already we have a lot of good and bad times, and we still hope that the good times are on the way because we know almost everything about how to make the guest happy visiting Russia. Apart that Russia is changing quite quickly, but changing in good. I mean, there are nice hotels, there are nice museums. It's a safe. I mean, the big cities are quite safe and such and such things. So we were doing during our tens tens of years. We are doing everything. We were doing FITs quite a lot. We were doing groups, we were doing chains, we are doing export groups and also the special interest groups like for our Greek colleagues could be interesting the religious groups and we were doing also business travel. It's still we are doing and Maria is here and I wanted to say that we are still having businessmen from Hungary in Russia. We are helping with the tickets, with the transfer, with the hotel reservation. So this business is still alive. Of course, we are not having big incentive groups, but this is a matter of time because we used to have them and our biggest was 2,500 people, was a huge Chinese congress in Moscow and we managed to do it and it was a huge success. So whatever you need, what sort of client you have, we are here to help. Here you will see some beautiful pictures. Uh, so, as I said, groups and FITs, and also because sometimes you have a clients who I don't know who have their own things to do in Russia, so we can just help with the hotel reservation, with the transportation, because now it's not easy to book train tickets or flight tickets within Russia from abroad. So we are helping with that because we have the reservation system in the office. So for us, it's easier and it takes minutes to reply to provide you availability and the prices. It's our Hermitage Museum, St. Petersburg. So if I don't know here our colleagues who doesn't know much here in this page, I want to point out what is the most important site to visit in St. Petersburg. Apart that St. Petersburg is absolutely unique place. Whomever is visiting, I still remember the eyes of my husband because my husband is Italian. When he came for the first time, his eyes was this size because he couldn't believe that it's real with all the illumination, with all the lights, with all the beautiful buildings, with our Niva River. It's an absolutely amazing place, and this is then it's a live place because the people are going to the bars. There is a music here and there, so it's nice, but the must-see in St. Petersburg, of course, is the Hermitage Museum, which owns one of the most significant collection of the art in the world. So it takes, I don't remember now the numbers, but it takes years if you want to stop in front of each masterpiece that is on the display in the museum. But that is the house of the history because the Romanov period of Russia is a special period. It's like a renaissance in Italy. So it's really, even for the people who probably feel a little bit boring about all the paintings, there are still amazing stories to listen inside the museum. And then St. Isaac Cathedral with the biggest cathedral of Russia. No, the second now. The one in Moscow is the biggest with the beautiful mosaics inside when all the walls are covered with the mosaics and then the semi-precious stones. So it's just to came and to say, wow, really wow. And then Peter and Paul Fortress is where the city actually was burned because the Peter the Great put the first stone here where next was built the Peter and Paul Fortress, and then of course the Katerina Palace and the Amber Room. That you can see the little piece of this Amber Room on this picture, and then of course fontains of Peterhof, because this is you can't find anywhere in the world. Even Versailles is not the same. Is absolutely not the same. And because the government still invests a lot of money into our heritage places, so it's new opening almost every year. They renovate everything. They open new places to visit, even within the residential. So it's really you can spend one day over there easily. And boat tour of the rivers and canals, because the St. Petersburg is not like a Venice, but sort of, let's say, Russian variation. So, and to take a relaxing, especially if you visited, I don't know, big museum, Hermitage in the morning, in the afternoon, just to sit down and to see our beautiful palaces left and right, and listen the story who was living there is really a nice touch of. I would say that also people who are living in St. Petersburg, they are doing that quite often because it's such a nice experience. And then, of course, from St. Petersburg, you can go to Novgorod. Novgorod is the ancient capital of Russia, and it's like completely different country, not a completely different town, but completely different country. Because there you can see original from the 14th, from the 16th, even from 11th century, the original churches and cathedrals that was built because that time Russia really did not have their own builders for this object. So we invited the people from Armenia and from Georgia to build the Russian cathedral. So it's all white walls, is slow life, is a tasty food. There is a big river just in the middle, and it's really like the times stop there. And it's, as I said, it's only 70 kilometers from St. Petersburg. The roads are now just like a highway, like a Germany roads. And so it takes 1 hour and a half and even less to go there and then to come back. So it could be done in one day. But it's beautiful to compare these two things. Glorious, the gold of St. Petersburg and those quite strict white walls and cupolas of Novgorod. So when is it time to travel to St. Petersburg? Of course, all year around. All year around, but in the winter, we don't really have a big cold. We usually have 1 or 2 weeks when the temperature could be -20, but not more than that. The average temperature is about zero, but you have to remember that for our beautiful white nights, we are paying with the long nights during the winter time. So the day is quite short, but still there are not too many people around, and the city is made to be visited all year around. So if you want really to enjoy St. Petersburg in peace, so you can go November, December, February, March. As I said, it's not really cold. But the white nights, so let's say the best time to visit is from the actually end of May until middle of July. So when really, no, there will be the night time, but it's only like 1 hour and it's not really a night, is something between day and night. And what's special we can offer, I mean, for the VIP guest or for the guest who are looking high class experience is Mariinsky Theatre is our main opera and ballet theatre, well known all over the world. Our director and conductor is Valery Gergiev. So this is really beautiful theatre itself, but also the performance is a high class performance. Is is a level of the La Scala in Milan, if not higher, because you know how many artists are performing, Russian artists and singers and dancers, ballet dancers are performing in all over the world. Then from the April up to end of October, you can enjoy the drawing bridges and all the ships passing by, and it's even possible because there are cafe here and there. And can you imagine that you are just having a glass of champagne? Okay, Russian champagne is not the best, but with its view on the bridges, everything goes. Everything goes. I'm telling you. And there is a Fabergé museum, and then we can arrange a special opening before or after working hours of the museum. So you can still enjoy caviar night in St. Petersburg. It's going to cost, but it's going to be really something special. So, and now we are moving to Moscow because Moscow again is a completely different town, completely different city, completely. If St. Petersburg, let's say, is driving with a speed 70 kilometers per hour, Moscow is driving 200 kilometers per hour. So everything boosting, the restaurant, the light, the nightlife, the performance, the theaters. In Moscow, they have 142 theaters. And we are not counting the shows and the other things. And now Moscow also the gastronomy paradise. So the quality of the food, the creativity of the food. You can go to Moscow just to eat, and that will be really worth it. But anyway, apart food, we in Moscow there are a lot of things to visit, and of course you can't miss the Moscow Kremlin, where there is all the power. You can feel that because when I am there, not that often, but sometimes I'm there, and you can feel that this is part of the world that rules half of the world, not half, okay, one third part. So it's not only historical object, but it's a very, very special place for everyone. We are not going to judge what is going on in the world, but this is place to visit. And then the Moscow by night, as I said, even if you are not a really big drinker or Moscow now is pricey, but just having the bus tour, bus ride along the night Moscow, you can feel the atmosphere, you can enjoy the beautiful lighting. And then in Moscow, even more in St. Petersburg, they open new spaces, new parks, new objects for everyone. So it's really another, you can just travel to see all these new things. And of course, Moscow Metro and the Tretiev Art Gallery and the Arbat Street and such things. And when is best time to travel to Moscow? Of course, again, the summer is better, but I would say that July and August, when the business activity is quite low in Moscow and it's possible to get a better price for the accommodation and to make a whole tour a little bit more, uh, I wouldn't say cheaper, but more reasonable price. So, but also for Moscow, as I said, because there is such a big business activity, so we offer our guests to visit it during weekend, especially when we combine Moscow with St. Petersburg. We can spend weekdays in St. Petersburg when there is not much of the difference, and we move to Moscow for the weekend because on the weekend the prices are cheaper, and if there is a big exhibition in Moscow, then it could be sky high during the working days. And what's special in Moscow? Of course, the Moscow River cruise. Okay, they started with Radisson boats, which are luxury boats. It's absolutely amazing experience, and they are navigating all year round. Also, when the Moscow River is covered with ice, but they are making a special way for this yacht, let's say. But even now, there are transportation. There is a boats that are bringing Moscow people from place to place. So this is a good alternative, more cheaper alternative, of course, but the experience is still very good. And there is also now in Moscow, in two places, the Moscow, they put the cable cars on the top row from Luzhniki. You can see the Moscow from the top, from the where the birds are flying. So all those things are now available and really can make any experience, any Moscow journey even more exciting. And the Большой theater, of course, and Cafe Pushkin is still there because if our colleagues was working with Russia, they should remember this place for the first and the most famous Moscow restaurant, let's say. And also from Moscow, we can visit the towns of Golden Ring, and again is another reality, is another universe, is ancient Russian towns that are not far away from each other. Usually we are doing from 3 days up to 5 days, but they are absolutely unique. And what is good, they are all unique on their own way. So even if you are not that keen in Russian history or architecture, you will remember exactly because they are all different. And again, the slow life, the nice food, the beautiful landscape, the countryside life, and the beautiful museums and churches and fresks and a lot of history. Then this is, of course, our Baikal Lake that we are also doing quite a lot. Now, by the way, there is a train that goes around the lake. So we can make a half day or full day trip with the train. And moreover, now there is even the cruises on the Baikal Lake, like 3 or 4 day cruise that are visiting all the coast and also some islands in the middle of the lake. So there is a lot of opportunity and very popular now to visit during the winter time Baikal because Baikal, apart that it's unique lake, it also have the unique ice. And you know what they are doing now? They are making a little hole in the ice and they put there the vodka and with the pipe, how is the name? I forgot in English. You can drink just from the ice, from the Baikal ice. So you can meet in the internet the pictures where the people are laying down and drinking water from the ice. So this is Baikal. And apart Baikal, as I said, all the territories, all the towns in Russia are developing very fast. And so we are also offering the Trans-Siberian way, and because there are a lot to see along Kamchatka, Kazan, Sochi, Murmansk, Solovki Islands. So really, I can keep naming the places another 2 hours. But anyway, just give us the idea what is the interest of your guest, and we will find the right destination for them. We are also doing the river cruises, and they are very popular. And so the relaxing way to go from Moscow to St. Petersburg or from Moscow to Astrakhan on the south of Russia with a nice, comfortable boat. We now also have the luxury boats for the demanding clients. So this is also possible. Okay, here we are. Close with what you have to know. So, visit to Russia. So, I know that here we have a Sophia from Greece, Maria from Hungary, and Maria from Greece, I think she joined to us. So for all of this country, now there is a e-visa that your guest or you on behalf of your guest can do even from the sofa from home. You don't need to go anywhere. It's easier. I tried it myself. It takes 15 minutes, not more than that, to fill up the form, to send the application. In 3 working days, you are getting the visa to Russia, which are valid, if I remember properly, up to 14 days, but I can check that for you. You can also visit our website because it's written and there is also the full list of the countries. And museums, it's because we understand that some of our guests from the Europe, they are trying to save the money and they are trying to book the tickets to museum themselves. And that's absolutely fine because we are all people and we are always want to save something, of course. So it's absolutely okay. Now all the museum have reservation system, but from the other side, the experience is not going to be the same, like to have the guide who will telling you exactly the stories you are dying to hear. But anyway, this option is also available because from the also internet point of view and online reservation, Russia is a very developed country, so you can do everything again from the same software where 5 minutes ago you were applying for Russian visa. So money could be an issue because now international credit cards are not accepted in Russia. So we advise our guests to bring some cash. We advise how much cash they may need depending on what they want to do and what level of the clients they are and what is already included and what we think would be they can do during the free time. So we advise, and moreover, when we have groups, not very often, but sometimes we have groups right on the way from the airport. If it's not middle of the night or if people not too tired, we are stopping in the reliable bank and we are making exchange at least for the first couple of days, so the people has some money in the pocket. But generally speaking, the changing money is very safe in Russia, and even the exchange rate could be different in very, very little. So there is not really point to go all around. You can just first place you see on the way, you can go and change the money. Will be safe, and as I said, the exchange rate will be quite okay. Internet is another good thing because literally internet you will find everywhere in metro, in the public transportation stops, in all the cafe, even on the streets. The only point that you have to be registered, so you have to provide your phone number. You will receive the uh, SMS confirming your registration, and then you can browse. You can do whatever you want. The internet is everywhere. Language is another good thing because nowadays, especially young people, they speak English. Somebody better, somebody worse, but they will help you and they will uh, uh, do their best to help you with all the questions you might have. But from the other side, easily you are just connecting to the Wi-Fi and you browse and you translate whatever you want. Okay, so here we are. And yeah, again, we are 33 years, if I calculated correctly. We are 24 hours response. We have the reputation which we care a lot because being on the market for that long, we are happy that people still remember us and knows us like a reliable company. And yeah, we are doing our best to deliver the best service possible. And thank you very much for listening. And now I am ready to answer any questions that you may have.